Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to United Daily Live. We are back with another daily Manchester United news video here on McKola TV. Back at the usual time of 12 p.m. UK time. Hope you guys are all doing well, and we have got loads to talk about today. We are looking at those reports from yesterday regarding Dayot Upamecano, which we have already covered on McKola TV, but we'll go through them at the back end of the show for those that missed that video yesterday. We're looking at the safe standing trials possibly coming to Old Trafford whenever football returns. We are looking at Juan Mata's comments regarding Ander Herrera, how he misses his old mate, Bruno Fernandes, and all that good stuff, as well as looking at Mr. Sam Homewood's interview with Paul Pogba, which has caused a little bit of a stir this morning. Now, Sam Homewood, my old buddy, my old pal, not seen him in a while. He's been absolutely tearing it up for Manchester United. He's doing the official stuff now, and he's been one of the co-hosts. I say the host. He's carrying it, you know what I mean? He's been the co-host of the podcast. I'm joking. Well done to Mrs. Evans and, of course, Mr. May as well. But yeah, Sam Homewood's been doing the podcast, and he's interviewed Paul Pogba, and he's had a discussion about many things. Now, I haven't been able to see the full podcast yet. I have seen various little clips and the teasers and things like that have come of it, and I've read the quotes that have come out regarding Graeme Souness as well, and I found them very interesting from Paul Pogba. They were pretty much two middle fingers up to him and a big fuck Graeme Souness, wasn't it? It's the kind of thing that you say every now and then. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. But to be fair, I can kind of understand why Paul Pogba doesn't know who Graeme Souness is, or didn't know who Graeme Souness is until Graeme Souness got Paul Pogba trending every single week Paul Pogba got Graeme Souness trending every week when Graeme Souness would open his bitter old mouth about the Frenchman. Like my old mate CR on Twitter tweeted, we got Jamie Carragher coming out this morning saying, oh wow, that's a little bit disrespectful of Paul Pogba. Well, Jamie, would you know who the Paris Saint-Germain captain was from the 1960s? No, you wouldn't. So why the fuck would you think Paul Pogba's going to know who Graeme Souness is? He played for Liverpool in the 70s and 80s. Played for, he's not going to know who he is. He's not going to know who he is. I couldn't name half of those players that won the European Cups for Liverpool. And that's not out of a disrespect. That's out of me not knowing. The only reason Liverpool fans of Paul Pogba's age will know who those people are is because they've sat there researching it when they were winning fuck all for years. Paul Pogba's not going to know who this fella is. He's not going to know who this fella is. And even if he did, it was a nice little dig. And in giving that dig, Paul Pogba was still a little bit respectful. It was like, I heard he was a great player and stuff like that. I don't know the face, but I know the name. Like I said, I'm not someone that watches a lot of punditry. I watch football and I don't stay after the game to listen to what they say about why they did this or why they did that. I like to focus on football. And Graeme Souness is history. His history. He's not football. But Jamie Carragher, I usually agree with Jamie Carragher, the silly scouse sod. I usually agree with him. I usually agree with Jamie Carragher. I like him. I agree with a lot of his punditry, of a lot of his opinions. I like the way he puts Gary Neville on the back foot sometimes. But he's got this wildly wrong. It does say he was in mischievous mood. And I know what Jamie Carragher can be like, winding people up and things like that. And probably, we saw after the podcast quotes went out there that Paul Pogba, Graeme Souness were trending. So when that's happening, Sky Sports are obviously, Jamie Carragher, Graeme Souness are obviously going to capitalise on that. As a media company, they're going to do that. It makes sense. When Carragher goes, there's been a story about Pogba this morning. And the interesting thing about it is we're quite critical of Paul Pogba, but I think when you're a player, you've got to be respectful, certainly of certain former players with certain opinions. At times, you have to take that criticism on the chin. You have to take criticism on the chin from a bellend like Graeme Souness, who can bring Paul Pogba's name up at the drop of a hat when Paul Pogba's not even playing. Are you sure? Some of the stuff that comes from Graeme Souness is very borderline racism at times, but even if it's not, it's obsessive and it's weird and it's strange from an old fella like him to be so obsessed with a young man like Paul Pogba. What is it that you're so threatened of by him? What is it you're so threatened of by Paul Pogba? You prick. So for Pogba to come out and say that he'd never heard of Graeme Souness, I thought that was really below the belt. Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Here we go again. I don't know, get a petition out or something. What's your problem? Course he doesn't know who he is. Course he doesn't know who he is. And he said Graeme can show him his medals. Alright, show us your medals. 5 league titles. Alright? Alright, Paul Pogba's got 4. In the Serie A. You got a Coppa Italia. Paul Pogba's got 2. You got 3 League Cups. Paul Pogba's got 1 of them. Alright, fair enough. Europa League, you've got 3 European Cups. Okay, that's fine. Paul Pogba's got a World Cup. 2 Italian Super Cups. So they've both got medals. If you want to get your medals out. And we're sorry we can't come up against the mighty Ulan Palacera, Aberdeen and CSKA Sofia on the way to winning a European Cup. I'm sorry we can't do that. We beat more difficult teams on the way to winning the Europa League. Times have changed. Graeme Souness wouldn't survive now. He would not survive now. You old dinosaur. And the only reason anybody knows who you are currently, even some of the younger generation Liverpool fans, is because you talk about Paul Pogba on a weekly fucking basis, you mount. On a weekly basis. And Paul Pogba finally comes out and says something, and now you're offended. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, it's a bit below the belt to not recognise the respect these players. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. As soon as Pogba says something, it's disrespect. But Graeme Souness has got free range to say what he wants about Paul Pogba whenever he wants. Fuck off. Fuck Graeme Souness. And sorry, fuck Jamie Carragher with that one. He's got it wildly wrong. And I usually agree with him. How are you going to get offended on Souness' behalf? Because a French kid didn't know who he was. Wasn't even born then. When was Paul Pogba born? 1992? No, not even 92. When was he born? 93. Paul Pogba was born in 93. What was Graeme Souness doing in 93? Oh, I got a European Cup golden boot. You scored most of your goals against Ulan Palacera. Who are they? Who are they? Ulan Palacera? No one knows who they are. No one knows who they are. God damn it. What was he doing in 93? That's what I want to know. His career, when did his career finish? I got Wikipedia this fool. And I'm a little bit of a geek when it comes to football. I know a few things about some Liverpool players. And I know Souness is a bellend. His career finished in 1991. He was at Rangers. You think Paul Pogba was watching the SPL from his dad's nutsack? Is that what you think? Paul Pogba was watching the SPL from his dad's nutsack? Because I don't. Of course he's not going to know who you are. Of course he's not going to know who you are. And just like CR says on Twitter, I couldn't have put it any better. Genuinely have no idea why Carragher thinks it's disrespectful from Pogba to say he's never heard of Souness. Could he name PSG's captain from the 60s? No, he couldn't. So there you go. Glenn Fletcher, how you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Nice one. Yeah, Harry Sheik, was that in Turkey sticking flags in centre circles and hoofing balls back to the goalkeeper? And we've all seen them clips of you clogger. Absolute clogger. Wouldn't survive in this era of football. Would not survive. The interview with Pogba is on the Manchester United official podcast with Sam Ormwood. That's all I got to say. Feel proud of him. What a legend. P Savage, how you doing, lad? Gavin Sweeney says the audacity of Souness to imply on live TV that a professional footballer is faking injury because he doesn't want to play. That is the height of disrespect. Pogba has every right to bite back, says Gavin Sweeney. I told you ages ago, Pogba stays. People have him all mixed up, says Busby Legend. Look, I thought Pogba was going to leave. I think, still possibility that Paul Pogba leaves in the summer. I will always defend him against the likes of, Graeme Souness, especially when Graeme Souness is so wildly wrong most of the time. But I've still had that feeling that Paul Pogba would leave for various reasons. I could see that happening because, he should be winning more medals. We should be winning more trophies. He should be. And he would be aiming to do that in his career. Now, if he thinks he can do that at United, great. I want him to stay. And I think there is a possibility. PSG was founded in 1970. Sorry, man. Well, you know what I meant, right? You know what I meant. Regardless, Marseille, Bordeaux, fucking whoever was in France at that time, Lyon, tearing it up. I don't know if he's meant that tweet. He probably has, to be fair. Probably has. But regardless of that, we know what the point is. You know what I mean? See, I don't even know PSG wasn't formed until 1970. I don't even know that. I'm an English lad. Why would I know that? I wasn't born then. And the same goes for Paul Pogba. Why would he know who played for Liverpool in the 70s when he wasn't even born yet? Why would he know that? Why? He wouldn't. Let us know your thoughts on that. We'll be reading more Paul Pogba quotes. We will be going through the reports linking Manchester United with RB Leipzig's Dayot Upamecano. We'll be looking at United wanting to hold safe standing trials. Juan Mata's quotes are missing his mate Ander Herrera. And reading some of your comments and questions and super chats out as well. I'm uploading the premium video, the first exclusive premium video that is getting uploaded today. And funnily enough, my old boy Sam Ormwood features in it because it's a little bit of it's a little bit of nostalgia. It's a little bit of nostalgia. Something you would never have seen before, so it's definitely exclusive, but it's a little bit of nostalgia. So that'll be out later for all the members that are in the comments and any members that watch this later. Make sure you go and check that out. But guys, make sure you're subscribing on Adam McKola TV. We're trying to hit 70k as soon as possible. So get hitting that subscribe button. We're just a few hundred away at the moment. And then when we hit that, we want to hit 75k by the end of May. So help me do that by subscribing. Hit that like button. Let's get stuck into some of your comments. I reckon Souness goes to bed thinking of Paul Pogba. The man is obsessed, as Con One. Got to see Pogba and Bruno at least once. As Rao hit, we were all looking forward to seeing that, weren't we? Who would you replace Pogba with if he left? Van der Beek or Grealish? As Satish, I'd go with Grealish. Big fan of Grealish. Who would be a dream centre midfield signing? I say dream. You never know. It could mess up, but I'd go Thomas Partey in the DM position. Then you got Bruno, you got Pogba to play in front of him. That was what I would go with. OnlyFans is coming soon. Sam was spot on when he said that not even Messi and Ronaldo face such criticism, even when they are not playing. And that is a bang-on quote. It's true. The levels of criticism aimed towards him are ridiculous. Now, we know in some aspects he brings some of these things on himself in terms of, looking at, let's say, his comments last summer, coming out saying I want to leave. You don't do that in public. You do that behind closed doors. And that was annoying and that was disappointing. But after that, he got his head down, he grafted. He played through injury on a number of occasions, which aggravated his injury even further. So, how can you... I can see some reasons for criticism, especially from United fans. But in terms of some of his performances at times, he was our best player last season. Luke Shaw getting the player of the year was a disgrace. It was a disgrace. If we took the names off the back of shirts and we didn't know who was who, Paul Pogba gets player of the year all the time. It's only because of his reputation, which I think to some degree is unearned and unfair, because I think he's a very good lad. I genuinely think he's a good-hearted, good lad. Whether whatever happens on the pitch and whatever happens in terms of where he plays his football, I think he's a good-hearted lad. But his performances for United have been pretty good. Yes, they could have been better. They could have been more consistent at times. But you could say that for the whole team. And it's not just been Paul Pogba that's suffered. And you can actually, I was reading Andy Mitten's article the other day, one of his articles, and he said in that article, there's a little quote, and he summarised it quite well, and he just said, Paul Pogba could point the finger at the club for not succeeding while he's been here, but they could also point the finger back. There's wrong on both sides. There's wrong on both sides. Anil says he didn't know who Souness was until today. Even if Pogba did know who Souness is, what does it matter? Souness talks BS about Pogba, so he gave the perfect response. And I'm not a Pogba fan, says Baru. But that's why I said we had him all mixed up. He absolutely breathes United, so it would take a lot to ship him out, says Busby. If there was any sort of issues with Pogba and commitment, Ollie wouldn't tolerate him and we'd know about it, says Al. Grealish, Sumari and Sancho, 200 mil is gettable, not pipe dreams of Dybala and Werner, says 2 tiers. Pogba isn't consistent enough in a United shirt. I don't think he's consistent. I think he's one of our most consistent players when he plays. There was times last season where he was pretty much the only one playing. Then there was times where he was pretty awful, and when he's bad, he's bad. But I don't think he's been the worst player at United by a long shot, as some people like to go on. I was hoping for a question on Mino, but I guess that's too much for an official club podcast. Yeah, you've got to remember that, there's going to be certain lines that they can't cross. There's going to be certain questions that they can't ask. It's bound to be the case when it's a behind closed doors interview and it's a club interview. I think that goes without saying, so you can't really criticise them for that. Do you know what I mean? Jay, I did allude to that, and I have alluded to that before, mate. He says, no one is allowed to say the blatant truth. Souness and Co are racist. I don't know who Co is, but I believe some of it is unconscious racism. If you look at the other day in the Sun, and I'm using the Sun as an example, and I know Graeme Souness is an individual that isn't as bad as the Sun newspaper, or hasn't done some of the things that the Sun newspaper have been. So I'm not comparing the two, but I'm just trying to use this as an example. Now, we seen the other day, Tory Lanez does Instagram Live. They're pretty mental, where he has girls twerking and all sorts of madness going on his Instagram Lives. And footballers and all that. And, well, there's 200,000, 300,000 people in these things. And footballers are obviously, a lot of footballers are into hip-hop culture and, different music and rappers and all that. And so they'll jump into Instagram Live and you'll see comments from the likes of Rashford, Sancho, all these kind of players, and even Scott McTominay and other players like that. And this newspaper did an article on these trashy Instagram Live stories and all this stuff. And they only listed and pictured the players in there that were black, as if to link them to that. Now that is subconscious racism. That there is, because you had Scott McTominay in there, why isn't his face on there? So those are things that a lot of people would think, that's not racist. How can you hear people coming out saying, oh mate, that's racist, and people are like, oh no, that's not racist, that's not racist. Look, why are you being so soft? Oh, snowflake, this, that. But actually, this subconscious racism, which is the worst racism, because you'd rather just get called the P word or, someone say the M word or whatever, because you know where they stand. Bro, I know where you stand. I know where you are. It's the subconscious stuff that will catch you out. And I believe a lot of the stuff that Graeme Souness is guilty of is the subconscious stuff where he doesn't even know he's doing it, but he's doing it. And he's not fair when representing that opinion on other people or other players. And then when you compare it to others, it starts to think, hold on a minute. You're bringing Paul Pogba up when he's not even playing. It's a bit weird, isn't it? So, yeah, I hear you, bruv. And I've said it before, and I've said it many times. But I'm not going to, I'd rather say fuck Graeme Souness than sit here and just constantly go on about it. Nice one, Aiden. Kevin, when we have played him in his natural position, I saw there's some sort of debate going on in regards to that. Morning, Dara, how you doing? Hope you're well. Right then, let's get these. We're going to move on from this story. Now, there was a story yesterday involving Dayot Upamecano, RB Leipzig centre-half, 21-year-old French player, not played for the full international team yet, but very, very close to doing that. They've obviously got a whole host of strong centre-halves there. And he's been linked with a move to Manchester United and Manchester City by Sky Sports Germany, funnily enough. He's got a release clause of £52.5 million, roughly. and his contract expires in a little over a year. So with that being said, you're looking at Dayot Upamecano, and he may well be on the move very, very soon. The likes of Bayern Munich, some of the Spanish teams are interested in him. And obviously Manchester United and Manchester City are believed to have been interested in him. Now this could be true. This could be bullshit and just reports to get clicks and all that kind of stuff, because we know a lot of Man United players and a lot of fans would be interested in the signing of Dayot Upamecano at their club. So when these stories come out, they know they're easily clickable because they know people want to read that. But having said that, Manchester United and Manchester City, particularly because I think Manchester City need first choice centre-halves probably more than we do, they would have scouted this player. It would have been irresponsible of them not to have scouted this player. They would have scouted many players. It's like with Jude Bellingham, like him going to Carrington with his parents and meeting the club doesn't mean he's definitely going to sign. There's a good chance he might, and there's a possibility, but it doesn't definitely mean he's going to sign, because we see these things happen on a regular basis in football. Players and young players visiting people, and it's the same with the likes of Dayot Upamecano, Timo Werner, Erling Haaland. All these players, I'm sure there would have been some level of interest, because it would have been irresponsible and negligent for United not to have been interested or scouting these players that are young, up-and-coming talents that could possibly be moving on the market. It would be proper irresponsible of United not to be in there for them. So these stories aren't necessarily totally bullshit, but these stories coming out doesn't necessarily mean that the moves are going to happen or the transfers are going to happen and everything's going to be, you know, these players are definitely coming through. So I think we have to keep that in mind as well as the deliveries just pass through. So what happens when everyone's on lockdown? I get the Bruno connection, but alright, I don't know what's going on there with that comment. Upamecano is not worth that money. He plays for the best tactical manager in Nagelsmann, and at a club that has no pressure to win. He isn't better than Axel or Mengi. No thanks, says Amar Vij. With the comment, do you agree with Amar on Upamecano not worth the 52.5 million release clause? Al Harrington says that Athletic said we were interested in another defender, but not an expensive one after Maguire. I'd take him, but can't see, especially with Sancho and Cole coming in. Al, could you possibly see if we say sold Smalling for 20 million, Jones for 10, Rojo for 5 to 10? If we recouped 30 to 40 million, could you possibly see that happening then, spending 50? Because then it would be like we spent 20. Do you know what I mean? So it's disrespectful for Pogba to say stuff that's actually probably true, but it's alright to Souness to accuse him of stuff that isn't true, i.e. faking injury. The press there any shit they can about Pogba, says Joshua. Abhishek says with the deliveries. Busby says, I get the Brugba. Oh, Bruno and Pogba's names. Don't do that, guys. Come on, we're better than this. But Pogba is going to find a smiling Martial, and the French connection re-up has me with goosebumps. I can't wait for Rashford, Pogba, Marshall, Bruno. Oh, say it again. It's going to be nuts when that happens. It's going to be nuts. Can we not just spend 50 million on a central defensive midfielder? I would love that, Sam. But it looks like we're going to be giving a new contract to the Man Utd and maybe holding tight on signing a central midfielder, which is a little bit disappointing to me. We probably only end up signing one if, you know, if Matic was going to leave, and he's not going to leave. I forgot what I was going to say because I was just in the middle of searching for the Juan Mata story that I wanted to discuss with you guys today. Keep your thoughts coming in. I also got to disagree with Juan Mata. He said Chelsea's Eden Hazard is the Premier League's greatest ever player. That's utter bollocks. It's not even Chelsea's greatest ever Premier League player. No. Eden Hazard was very easy on the eye. But I don't think he ever fulfilled the talent that he has. He's not doing it at Real at the minute. But I always felt he could have got more goals and more assists. He's very nice to watch and he does great things. And I no doubt have him playing for Man United because he's great to watch. But he never quite had that killer instinct. You know, I'm going to bag goals every single week. And for me, that's why he was never one of the greats in the world at the present, or one of the best. I'd never regard him top 3 in the world or anything like that. And he's definitely not the greatest ever player. Sorry, Juan. I love you, but he's not. Wamata also admits that he's missing his mate Ander Herrera in this article. It's obviously based on a Q&A that was in United's official website. And he says, does he regret that he's left? And he says, yeah, I do. I do miss him on the pitch, but also in the dressing room and outside. We were living in the same area. We were seeing each other after training for lunch, dinner, to watch football together. So, of course, I miss him. He's a very good friend. I'm still in touch with him often. He's very happy in Paris. He also compared Herrera to new United signing Bruno Fernandes. And he said, when you understand football in the same way, I think it's enjoyable to play with someone like him or someone like Bruno now. You always miss him when you don't play with people like this. And I miss Ander Herrera. I don't think the move's gone to plan for him out in Paris Saint-Germain. He's obviously earning a lot of money. And you can't go wrong with that. But for me, I think him staying at United would have been better. Imagine having Herrera, Bruno, Pogba, Fred, McTominay. It's pretty much a complete midfield there. It's pretty much a complete midfield. And it's a shame that he's no longer here at the club. We didn't get him signed down to a deal. That was one of the problems that was caused by Alexis Sanchez's big fat contract. Because then players like Ander Herrera could say, hold on a minute. This offer that you're presenting to me doesn't make sense because this bellend over here is doing absolutely fuck all. And he's earning a lot of money. And you can hear the sirens coming for Sanchez. You can hear them coming. Because they're out there looking for him. He's an absolute wage theft. Wage thief. I can't even speak English at the moment. But, yeah. I totally understand why Herrera was then in a position where he couldn't see, alright, I'll take that money. Because no, actually. This dickhead's getting paid ridiculous amounts. Maybe I should be earning what he's earning. Because I'm doing more. So I understood it. Probably not gone to plan for him. Probably could have gone better. In fact, we know it could have gone better. Matt also had something to say on Jadon Sancho. He said, we all know that he's a great player. He's having a fantastic season at Borussia. But you know it's not my responsibility to speak about those things. Of course, I like him as a player, but I cannot reply to that. And everyone surely likes him as a player. He is a fantastic player, a great talent. And he's a player that, you know, as the days go by, seemingly everyone's growing in more confidence that Jadon Sancho will be a Manchester United player. And fingers crossed that happens. I think him coming in, playing on the right-hand side of midfield would fill in a massive position for, I say midfield, right wing, isn't it? It would fill a massive position that we've had vacant for a while and we need to fill, and we need to get a player in there. And he'd be a player that you'd expect, just like when we signed Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who'd be playing behind him. He's going to be there for 5-10 years. You'd think the same about Sancho, you'd think the same about Martial, you'd think the same about Rashford. If Pogba stays, you'd think the same about him, you'd think the same about Bruno. McTominay, Fred could be in the squad for a long, long time. Maguire, you'd think the same about him. At left back, Brandon Williams, Ethan Laird, you'd think the same about potentially their potential coming through. So there's a lot of positivity to be had in this team and in this squad. I did a video the other day called United's Future 11 and I left a few players out. Which obviously got the discussion going in the comments, and I didn't mean to be disrespectful to anyone's talent. They were just the ones that I felt were in the next in line and next in the pecking order to come through. You're very rarely going to have someone just completely leapfrog them unless they're by way and far ahead the best player in the team. Would like to see Timbo given a chance in the DM spot, Matic and Timbo swapping and giving him a chance to prove himself and get used to the position and the discipline of the roles with Sam. And that's... I hope there's an opportunity there for Timbo. Now, with the way that Nemanja Matic is, you know, he's getting older. He's not going to be able to play week in, week out every single game. We're going to have rotation in that position. Now, I think at home games, you can play McTominay and Fred in that position because you don't have to be so defensive at home in certain games. But I think you do need a specialist in those positions in the big games away from home. And Timothy Fosu-Mensah has all the attributes to do well there. He hasn't actually performed well enough in that position to say, actually, he's the next man to come through. But you'd like to think with the way the squad's shaping up, maybe he'll get an opportunity unless James Garner and Dylan Levitt are going to come through and jump ahead of him in the pecking order, which again is a possibility. 352 people watching at the moment. It's just gone up again. We've got a pretty busy United Daily Live today. This is busy for me on United Daily Live, so get hitting that like button, get subscribing, and if you've not seen United Daily Live before, then make sure you're joining us every single day. here on Adam McKola TV at 12 o'clock UK time. On Mondays we're a little bit later on, but we still have an upload at 12 o'clock for you. Make sure you're subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing. We've got more content coming for you. We've got a rumour rater coming up for you later, which is a striker special. So we're looking at the strikers that Manchester United could be signing and rating those rumours. Then tomorrow we've got another Master Debaters. On Thursday we have got the Weekly United. On Friday we've got Straight Up MUFC with me and D. On Saturday we have got that head-to-head between me and Foot FG. The best of 3 Manchester derby on FIFA 20. That's coming up for you guys on Saturday. I'm editing that. There's so much videos to go through. And on Sunday, we're back with McKola and Howson's Pod to Nowhere. Again, which we had another great one this week. So make sure you're subscribing to Adam McKola TV to keep it locked to all that content. Every single day, United Daily Live. And every single day, a new strand or a new video popping up. And you'll always get the likes of 10 things Ollie's fixed, 10 things Ollie needs to fix, United Future 11, how the team will look with Bruno and Pogba. I'll always keep doing those kind of videos as well. So if you have any ideas for those kind of videos, head over to the community section, get a comment in somewhere, and we'll get joining it. Oh yes, Sam commenting about the Discord chat. Lots going on over there as well. And Sam, I'll post a link in there later for the new video that's going to be coming up for the premium and the members of Adam McKola TV. So thank you to you guys. If you want to check out what membership's about, I know most of you probably can't at the moment. It's a difficult time. We don't know what's going on. But if you can, check it out. If not, subscribe. Right now, we are looking at Pogba and a new Marshall. Number 9. Pogba and a new Marshall at number 9 is a connection that should not be slept on. Rashid and Sancho on the wings give us the title already, says Tyrannosaurus. Abhishek with the super chat. What's with the Ferran Torres news? So I was reading a little bit of this yesterday. Now I don't know a huge amount about this player, but I'm gonna get up this story because I did see this story popping up the other day. He plays for Valencia. He's a right winger that plays for Valencia, and there's been a lot of talk about potential alternatives for Jadon Sancho. Ferran Torres has been linked with Manchester United. Now I'll get some stats up for him from last season. He played for Valencia in 35 games, got 6 goals and 6 assists, 4 yellow cards, shots per goal 1.2, aerial duels 1.4, 2 man of the matches, an average rating on Who Scored of 6.97. He was linked with Manchester United the other day, so let me click news on here. Liverpool have also been linked with him as well. I'm not too sure whether there's actually any interest there. I just think it's possible alternatives to Jadon Sancho, and there's been a few articles like that have come around which have then span off United could be interested in this guy. Now Valencia will obviously they're not going to be in a position to keep some of their best players because maybe they're going to be able to get picked off a little bit, and so there will be players in there that will be interested in him. Daily Mail reported 4 hours ago that Borussia Dortmund have made a £35 million offer for United and Juventus target Ferran Torres. And when things happen like that, when you see articles being reported as like another one, Dortmund launched £35 million bid, this is on a different story, different website, for United transfer target Ferran Torres. So when you see that, you're thinking, huh? Dortmund are looking for a Sancho replacement and are going for Ferran Torres. But then, when the Daily Mail and the scumbags at the Sun report this story, when they report this story, they say he's a Man United transfer target. But Man United are probably going to be the ones that buy Jadon Sancho. So why are we going to be competing with Dortmund for the potential replacement of Jadon Sancho? Doesn't make any sense. I think this one is, they've put Manchester United's name into the story in order to create further interest and further clicks on that article. And also they know Dortmund, Manchester United, those two clubs are going to be very linked in terms of searching and meta and stuff with the you know, the Jadon Sancho thing going on. So you've got to consider that as well. But thank you for your super chat. Thank you for getting involved. We will keep you locked and informed on what the latest news is in regards to Ferran Torres. But I'm not thinking too much about it in this moment. Leon Bailey, says Sean Darcy. Torres has scored twice in the Champions League this season before Valencia got knocked out by Atlanta. Was that the absolute goal fest? Is that the absolute goal fest? This summer will be interesting. We're still capable of paying full whack for players, but also primed to take advantage of bargains, and our selling stance is probably even stronger, says Al. Any more? Good on Paul Souness, shouldn't be allowed on the telly with his shady old world views, says I am due boy. And one more time for good measure. Fuck Graeme Souness. Guys, thank you for joining us here on Adam McKola TV today. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you on this United Daily. Remember, we're back every single day at 12 o'clock UK time, and we have other uploads that will be uploaded at either 5 to 8 p.m. UK time. In and around those times, we'll get the other videos up for you. Manav, thank you very much for joining in. I love you too. Glenn, Ilya, Minnie, Dara, Dewboy, Joshua, Al, everybody else that got involved. Abhishek, thank you for your super chat. Everyone, Sam, Drew. I've missed out some names, I know I have, but thank you to everyone for getting involved. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Head back here later on for another video. See you tomorrow for another live. And for now, I've been Adam McKola. You lot have been legends. Fuck Graeme Souness. We're out of here.